so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy. No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLR.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
And good Friday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to KLRN Radio and Digital Beacon US's U.S. News Weekend News Roundup. And, there's absolutely nothing to talk about today. So you guys might as well just go on about your day. Might as well just go on about your day. But yeah, so of course we'll be talking about the tariffs decision. And even though when they kept delaying and Trump kept using the tariffs, at one point I got semi-hopeful that maybe he knew something we didn't. We're back to what I originally said and have recorded on several different shows during when all this stuff first started breaking. This was definitely a Solomon splitting the baby kind of decision. And unlike what the leftists are screaming, it doesn't really do much of what you think it was going to do, especially after the announcements he's made today. Now, whether you agree with Trump, what he's trying to do or not, I'm not necessarily supporting Trump. I'm supporting the fact that he already made the decision and the money's already in the bag and I don't want to have to give it back. Kind of where I'm at. So we're going to start there. But before we do all that, I just wanted to give you guys a bit of a tease. Before we do all that, we're going to go around the panel and ask everybody how their week has gone. So we'll start with, at the very bottom, Mr. Brad Slager right below me. How are you doing, sir? How are things?
Going well. We're swelling with pride over USA hockey. The guys took the gold medal last night. The men tonight are going for the victory to get into the final game. So it's been a big week on that. I'm kind of enjoying it too, that the fact that you really get the sense that the hockey teams are in DJAF mode, because while every athlete in the Olympics is trying to distinguish themselves, slamming the country, the hockey players are like, we're filled with pride. We love the country. We're going to sing the national anthem together. And they don't cow to the press. And I just love them for it.
Well, I just love the fact that the Syrupians were all pissed off that the ladies won. And I'm like, I would tell you to stick to syrup, but Vermont has better anyway. So.
Yeah, the Snow Mexicans didn't take that loss too well last night, and they were.
No,
I love the fact that some of them were even saying it was like, "Oh, that was a Bush League goal that she scored." It's like, well, that means your defense and goalie couldn't stop a Bush League shot. So
right.
It's still a goal.
Right. A goal is a goal is a goal. And I'm sorry, if you get in the Olympics and win a silver medal, I would smile. I would be happy because that is still a big honor. That is still a big accomplishment. They all look like they were sucking on lemons, and you love to see it, but damn.
You're
Damn,
clearly
be
not
grateful.
Canadian, Amy.
Clearly.
So you're saying they had bitter bitch face? That's what you're saying.
They did.
Oh,
They
Jesus.
absolutely did.
Had to be said. Had to be said. All right. So Miss Amy, how are you? How are things?
I am doing well. Things are going great. I can't believe it's Friday already, although I just happened to look outside and 2 days ago it was 64 and sunny. Now it's snowing. So the joys of living in Wisconsin. Yay. But
And
no, I'm good.
it's not much better here. Like yesterday, it was up to 75 and windy, and then I get up this morning, and the high today is supposed to be 50, and I'm like, every time I start trying to shake this crud, Mother Nature says we're gonna mess with your stuff some more. Yay. Anyway, but yeah, glad you're doing all right. Glad to see you're still back in the old homestead, not fighting the whole
Yes,
plumbing.
yes,
thing.
Knock on wood, the plumbing is still working and it's not going to get bitterly cold again. So I think the long nightmare is over.
I mean, I would knock on wood, but it's covered right now. So. Anyway, so BZ, how's things where you are, sir? How's things?
A little chilly. It snowed last night and snowed this morning, and it's still kind of snowing now. It's it's the time to get down to shorts and tank tops. It's 17 degrees.
Team no pants. Woohoo! I mean, yeah. I remember my mom when we lived in Seattle. My mom used to look at me like I was crazy. There'd be snow on the ground, and I'd have a sweatshirt on because my arms were the only thing that ever got cold. And I had my Converse on with shorts. And my mom's like, "Dude, it's like 20 degrees outside. You're going outside in shorts." I'm like, "So everybody else does it too." Well, if everybody else jumped off a bridge, would you? I don't know. Probably.
I'm always in shorts. It can. I was in shorts going to Red Robin when it was minus 21 one night.
Boys, it gets. I'm in a sweater, jeans, socks, and I'm still cold.
I'm just a massive producer of great amounts of BTUs.
Oh, nice. I thought he was about to say hot air, but he pulled it back. So
I'm just grateful for the lack of smell-o-vision.
Well, it's a good thing you guys don't see my face then.
Oh no.
Nice. But we can see your face. Yeah, not just it's your Abby, but we still see your face. Yeah, we still gotta figure out what's
seen
going
your
on.
show before.
We can still gotta figure out what's going on with your camera because I don't understand why you can use it on your platform and not mine. Because I change back and forth between yours and mine all the time, and I never have an issue.
It's weird. So I decided today to go for an avatar. At least put something in there other than B.
There we go. All right.
So what? Yeah. So if you were still B though, I was gonna make the Sesame Street joke. Today's episode of the Weekend Broadcast is sponsored by the letter B, but now you're not. So I can't. All right. So where are we going first?
Good God.
Oh God. Like that. Like okay. Where
Throw a dart.
Right. Spin the wheel of topics to discuss. I suppose let's get the elephant in the room out of the way and talk about the tariff ruling because
It is.
we touched upon that briefly, and I just spent an hour watching Trump's presser, so may as well.
He was hot today.
He came out loaded for bear.
I was running the end of that. So I do have one question before we get into the meat of the first topic. Did anybody else see the breaking story about the supposed explosion in Iran? And does anybody have any more information on that? We might be able to get to in a minute. Because I started looking
even
for
see that.
I saw it pop up on my feed for like a half a second about an hour ago, and I haven't been able to find anything since. So I don't know if maybe it was one of those things where somebody hit the publish button too early again and pulled it back, or what happened. But but anyway, yeah. As far as the tariffs, I mean, I already gave a lot of my take on my show, so I'm going to let you guys take the lead on this one. So we'll probably start with ladies first. Amy, what you got?
All right. Well, like we were talking backstage, I've never fully understood Trump's obsession with tariffs. He came into the office saying he was going to do the tariffs. He did the tariffs. That being said, I think I agree with you. The more we talked about it is they really kind of split the baby. They said he can't impose tariffs under IEEPA, but he's got a slew of other statutes and acts that he can impose these tariffs under. And that's what he said he was going to do in his presser. He's going to look at those other avenues. He's going to implement the tariffs that way and pretty much keep things going. Things have not changed at all. In terms of we still have tariffs. Tariffs are still in place. I think the big elephant in the room that SCOTUS didn't address, and that may be why it took them 6 months to finally issue this ruling. What happens to all the revenue that we collected? Who does that go back to? And I was listening to Fox News and they're saying, well, it'll go back to the corporations that paid this. Well, that's a bunch of bull, because the consumers, that those costs get passed on to consumers. So if you bought something that had a tariff on it, you ended up paying for that tariff. How do you parse out who gets what? They've created a possible fiscal mess, and I really hope that whoever's working on the Trump team has a way forward. But I do think ultimately, though, at the end of the day, Trump is right. He kind of said they're going to have to sue. We're going to have to go through court, and it's going to drag out through years. And he said 2 years. I think that's optimistic. I think if there's a lawsuit and court cases, we're looking at something that'll drag well into the next administration, if not the one after that. So,
yeah, at one point he actually said it could go on for up to 5 years. So
Mhm.
I think he may have changed his tack on that in the middle of the presser.
yeah. And that's
But-
very, very strong possibility.
All right, Brad, what do you got on this one so far?
I mean, my take on it has always been that tariffs have normally been the realm of Congress, but this is something like you just said. He ran on this last year before taking office, pledged it when he was sworn in, enforced it right away, came out with his list, last April?
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm. Yeah, I think it was Liberation Day with April.
It's been a
Yep.
year. Nobody has made a move
Right.
on this. Nobody in Congress outside of, some pablum and lip service. We're supposed to do this and they don't do anything. So again, if there is this economic mess as a result, it's all because they've let this go for over a year now.
Mhm.
And it's almost, a case where isn't it too late? I mean, he's been talking about it and nobody took action until a judge steps up and wants to do a TRO on it. Sorry, this is something that should have been addressed before. So
Right.
my whole thing with the tariffs, though, everybody freaks out about it, and he's been using it as a negotiation tool almost exclusively. So he'll throw a 60% number at a country, they'll cower and get upset about it and renegotiate. He'll drop it to 15, which is what he wanted in the first
Right.
place. And then everybody says he capitulated, and look at he's backing down, and it's like, well, they're fluid. It's not like these things are written in stone to begin with.
Right.
He can just come out one day and announce a number and it's in place, and then the next day repeal that number.
Mhm.
It's something he uses as part of his art of the deal negotiation.
It's a fundamental misunderstanding of what that guy does. You don't get by now that he wrote a book called The Art of the Deal, and he's not interested in dealing.
Mhm.
It's like you know nothing, Jon Snow. So you guys don't understand him. What the hell? He's written books about it. This is his shindig. This is what he does.
Mhm.
Plus, it's not always Congress that has had something to do with tariffs.
Mhm.
Congress has passed tariffs many times before, but there's something called the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, which allows the president to impose tariffs if imports kind of threaten our national security. Well, in my estimation, anything that isn't manufactured in the United States, we get held hostage over, and that affects our national security. So let me ask you guys something. Does it not seem to you that most of the critical cases that have been shipped over to SCOTUS, I think as Rick said, they just cut the baby in half. They are predominantly uninterested in ruling clearly one way or another on most serious issues. They don't want to. I get the feeling that don't send us this shit. Just fix it in Congress.
Mhm.
Congress is busted. It's broken. Whose cool cat is that?
That's my cat. The door is closed. He's outside. He's screaming to come in. I can't.
That's so cool.
I can't let him in because he has a bad habit of wanting to sit on my shoulders. And And it's painful because he's not declawed. We trim his nails, but he's got to climb up there somehow. So I make him stay out of my room when I'm trying to do something important. And now he's like the toddler the fourth toddler I never had screaming outside the door. So I didn't know he was that loud though.
That's funny.
Let me in. Let me in.
Yes, pay
But,
attention
yeah,
to me.
Let's see. I think it was it Amy that sent that? I think it was Amy. Was it Amy? I don't know.
Well, the one about
Yeah.
from Larry
so-
O'Connor. Yeah, that was going to be the next point that I brought up because he makes a good point. Justice John Roberts looked at all of this law and said, yep, you know what? Government can force you to buy health insurance, but we can't find a basis for Trump to pass this, especially with the term, what was it? Imports, like
Yeah.
regulating imports. That is such a broad term. And it doesn't sound like SCOTUS, because I haven't had a chance to read the whole ruling yet. It doesn't sound like SCOTUS has actually explained or added constraints to what the definitions of those terms mean. So they could be interpreted as anything, kind of like how they interpreted the Commerce Clause to justify Obama. Okay.
Well, I mean, good luck reading through this stuff because I mean the prevailing opinions, and there were several different places where they split off. So I think somebody wrote as much as 65 pages. Other folks wrote anywhere between 35 to 40, and the dissenting opinions were almost as long. I think one of the ones that I was the most interested in, and we talked about this a little bit in the green room before everybody else started showing up, was the article that's come out recently talking about Justice Thomas rulings and basically how he's saying, this is a complete breach of everything because tariffs have not always been the purview of Congress, and there have been plenty of times throughout history
Yeah.
where the executive branch has used that power. And every time the executive branch has ever used that power and it has been questioned, it has been upheld that they have the right to do that. So I'm really, and again, I am no fan of the tariffs. I didn't understand enough about it in the beginning, and I was buying into everybody's, this is going to kill us, but it really didn't. I mean, I know the GDP numbers came out for the final quarter, and apparently I didn't get a chance to see what they were because the SCOTUS ruling came out like right after that. But I know a little bit I heard from Fox News where they were, well, these were lower than what we expected, so maybe the tariffs going away for a while will help. But I'm like, I don't think they're going to, though. Because I mean, first of all, the tariffs aren't going anywhere. They didn't really say anything about how they were going to unwind it or anything else. They just said, hey, you can't do this, but everything else goes back to the lower courts to figure out now. So yeah, this is going to be something that takes forever.
Yeah.
Either way.
Right.
Kavanaugh said, this is nuts. We have not provided any way for, for lack of a better word, reimbursement. How the hell do you do that?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I don't even see how that's realistic just from a cerebral standpoint. I mean, this is all commerce that has already taken place. You can't do rebates on tariffs. I mean, it's just not a feasible begin with, let alone enforceable.
If anything, I mean,
And didn't Trump say
was
something today too that he was imposing brand new tariffs on top of the old ones to
Yes.
counteract?
Yep.
this?
Yeah. He came out
had-
swinging. Yeah, he came out.
So he had some
swinging.
kind of secondary tariff policy in place already, which is going to negate most of this, or at least extend the ruling or provoke another one. And I think most of it's a moot point to begin with. So it's
Well, I mean, and the other thing is, if you take a look at the actual opinions that were given, a lot of the most important tariffs weren't even touched by this ruling. So the ones with China's unfair trade practices, those are still going to be in place. The steel tariffs, all of those still in place. So a lot of the things that the Dems are taking a victory lap about today aren't even ever going to change. And the thing that drives me crazy about all of it is, again, I call balls and strikes as much as I can, but the simple fact of the matter is apparently all of our economists got it wrong, because even with these supposed tariffs and this being a tax on the American people and blah, 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 our economy is actually starting the process to rebound. And everywhere you look, you're seeing that. But there's still, these tariffs are terrible. And yeah, but as far as the refunds, so they're going to give it back to the corporations? Really? Because I thought you guys just said the American people were paying those. So could the argument not being made that because everybody's getting a lot more money back on their taxes thanks to these new policies, that they're technically already getting their tariff payments back?
If you were a corporation, for example, and you didn't like the amount of money that you were receiving, wouldn't you instigate an immediate countersuit and say, hey, we are due more? And then that crap gets tied up. His quote Trump today, and this is all because of OMB. You know, we're going to poop in the mess kit. Effective immediately, all national security tariffs, Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs remain in place and in full force. In effect, today I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged.
Well, yeah, I knew that was coming even before he started talking about it openly in the presser, because he was talking about, you know, that he had just met with, I think it was one of the dudes from like the leader of Vietnam, and then I guess he was on the phone with supposedly the Prime Minister of Canada, and he said both of them when they were talking to me were like, well, we honestly kind of hope that they leave you alone on this, because we already know that if they don't, you could actually do much worse. And that's basically exactly what he just did.
Right.
He's like,
Right.
There's another 10%, bitches. No.
Right. But I will give Trump credit for this, because he has pulled off yet another amazing trick and made Democrats come out against taxes, which is really rich, because Abigail Spanberger was put in office less than 6 weeks ago, and the Democrats are like, here's a laundry list of taxes on everything from gym to Uber. We're going to pass and, raise the cost of living on everything. And now they're all of a sudden, oh, wait, taxes are bad. We can't do taxes. What's his name? Gavin Newsom even said, return the taxes that you stole from people, your illegal taxes. Okay. All right. And let's see his platform when he officially announces that he's running for president, because I'm sure the list of taxes will be incredibly long. Heck, Steven Spielberg is moving out of California because they're putting in that 5% billionaires tax.
Yeah, do as I say.
I can connect the dots on this one. I know they think I'm stupid because they don't believe I can get a birth certificate, but I can notice patterns, and I can figure out you guys love taxes right up until Trump does them.
Yeah, we're taxing marmots and milkshakes in Virginia. That was the name of my second garage band, by the way.
That's an awesome name for a garage band.
Thank you. I still hear the cat. The cat is great. I'd love to see the cat on your shoulder. Are you going to do it?
I'm not. I am.
Are you going to do it?
Don't peer pressure her into having her put because then she's going to get injured. And she'll be mad.
You should see my son's shoulders, because he's the one that started this, where he would let the cat would like a scarf, and his if the school ever asks questions, CPS is coming to my door because it looks like I whipped this boy, because his back is all scratched up, his shoulders are all scratched up, and because he lets this cat lay on him. And in fairness, we lost 2 cats after we moved in here. My dog passed away in December, so he went from being a 4-pet household to a 1-pet household, and I'm just not emotionally ready to have any other pets. So he's probably a little bit lonely. Maybe toward the end I'll let him in and you can see him. I will send you a picture though, because he is freaking adorable. I won't lie.
Hey, you guys are going to give up your dogs for Islam, right?
No, my dog died in December and I said I wasn't going to get any more. If they even think about trying that bullshit, I will get 6 dogs. And they will be big, mean dogs that I will feed pork every single day, because they're not no, absolutely not. That is, we'll talk about that too, because that is one of the most insane things I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. Somebody's got to do it somewhere though. And the Texas representative, he needs to be fired. Didn't read what he said and didn't see the context of the whole thing as per normal.
Well, and I think
I just loved when Swalwell.
But I think a lot of them.
He came out and said, this is despicable. It's like, you're running for office, so now your platform is your anti-dog, pro-Sharia law. That's a fantastic vote getter right there, buddy. Good move.
Like I point out, not a single Democrat came out and said, well, no, we're not going to let them take your dogs. That's absolutely ridiculous. All they went to was right away, racist. You're all racist. I had a writer from The Atlantic in my mentions calling me anti-Muslim and xenophobic. Yep. Like that's supposed to hurt my feelings. If my choice is euthanize my dogs to appease the Muslims, or even worse, subjugate myself to a religion that thinks I'm worth less than cattle, or be labeled by you, who I don't know, as anti-Muslim, I'll take anti-Muslim any day of the week, and I'll keep my dogs and my freedom. So thank you. As my boyfriend said, when the Atlantic is mad at you, you're doing God's work. And I wear that like a badge of
Boy,
honor.
that's right. Was there going to be some kind of a walk your dog in Times Square protest in New York here recently?
They've already done it once. I think they're doing it again.
Oh,
I think it's this
Yeah, because
weekend.
there was
they're
also
holding
supposed to be
something.
some big Ramadan. There's supposed to be some big Ramadan thing, and they're going to bring their dogs to this Ramadan thing. And I'm
cool.
like, fine,
Love
absolutely,
that.
absolutely.
Also,
Because there was
oh, go ahead, Amy.
in the UK, they're trying to make the countryside less white, and they said one of the obstacles is a lot of people have dogs, and the Muslims don't like dogs. So right now, I'm telling you, the UK is going to be the first one to say, yeah, we have to ban dogs. Well, what they won't, I take that back. They won't outright ban them, but what they will do is impose massive fees, fines, regulations, so that most people just simply can't afford to have a dog. And
Or what
Like
they'll do is set up
an
no
initiative.
whack zones.
mhm. Oh, that too, yeah, yeah.
Well, one of the things that drives me nuts, right, with this big whole, supposedly this big Ramadan thing that's happening in New York City, of course, because they have a Muslim mayor now, so of course that's going to happen. But the whole thing of, for anybody who understands how things actually work inside Islamic countries, them doing what they're about to do in the middle of Times Square would be illegal in the country that they come from.
Mhm.
Well,
And it's
yeah.
also considered taboo. It's no different than Christians and Jews. The scripture that talks about, don't pray in public because it makes you look stupid. I mean, that's not the exact quote, but it's close enough. But it's part of their whole intimidation, because that's why they want the call for prayer on all of the speakers once they put them in, and they want this and they want that, so everybody can see all these people pouring into the streets and bowing towards Mecca, and like, oh my God, there's so many of them. What are we gonna do? How does we just give up?
It's an oral assault, number one. And then number two, I wonder what would happen if, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 Catholics decided that they were going to go into the middle of Times Square and just block everything.
Are you kidding? If you attend the Latin Mass, the Biden administration labeled you a domestic terrorist. And I am certain, I can never prove it, but I am certain that the Latin Mass parish I go to here in Milwaukee, that there were FBI agents planted in that congregation. I am certain of it.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
But didn't they just have something
Because-
recently where they were ringing church bells and the Muslims were getting upset because it was canceling out their call to prayer? And the
Mhm,
Catholics were the ones that were the hateful, oppressive, don't
of course.
inflict your religion on us entity.
Mhm.
It's like, I'm sorry.
Right.
How is one the problem and not both or neither?
Right. Well, because the practitioners of one have brown skin of varying degrees, and that's all that matters to the left. Oh, also, and they hate America because they've been chanting for years, death to America, death to Israel. Anything that destroys America, anything that destroys Christianity, they will embrace wholeheartedly. But I think a lot of them haven't thought this through, because all the things you love, transgenderism, gay marriage, abortion on demand, women who can work outside the home, who go to school, who do things like go to the doctor. In Afghanistan now, it's not only illegal for women to work, get an education, or become a doctor, it's also now illegal for them to be a doctor, or to see a doctor, because only men can be doctors and you as a woman cannot see a male doctor. I don't hear a single feminist saying anything about it. All the women who dress up in the handmaids costumes, not a peep. But you are aligning yourself with an ideology that hates you, that will kill you, that will take everything you say you love and hold dear and completely do away with it. And you look at that and go, oh, we need to be diverse. It's worse to be racist than it is to live in a liberal, small L, democratic society with multiple religions, except for this one that can't tolerate. Like, it makes no sense
No,
to me.
it's
at all.
nuts. The first cohort of people who would be set for elimination would be leftists, LGBTQ, and essentially anything and everything that leftists and Democrats hold dear. Folks, you'd be the first target, comma. That's how damn stupid you are.
Well, these are the people that are, inflamed about the Handmaid's Tale, and I'm not going to wear a red robe and bonnet, but a burqa is perfectly acceptable. don't
Right,
really
right.
know.
Peggy
I'm
Flanagan,
trying to
more
follow
one.
that line of thinking because it doesn't add up to me. One is oppressive, and you conservatives want this, even though no conservative is pushing it, but they support the religion that mandates women dress that way.
It's the color
I-
scheme,
yeah.
Brad. They like the black
Mhm,
color
mhm.
scheme. That's what it is. They don't like the red. They're fine with the black.
Well, like I've said before,
Mhm.
how far is the UK from being a nuclear armed Muslim country?
Not very
And
far at all.
I've said also any number of times, how long will it be before we reset our ICBMs? When the UK, and I think it's not a matter of if, I think it's a matter of when. I don't think the UK will ever come back. It doesn't. It lacks courage. It's lazy, and it's completely capitulated. How long before they truly do become possibly the first nuclear armed Muslim nation? And then it becomes
Soon.
our enemy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're already in
And
NATO.
it's sad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the implications of that are so far reaching. I don't think people have ever played this out to the logical conclusion that it's heading towards.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
always been the problem with the left. They never think forward on anything. It's
No,
always
they can't.
immediate
No,
policy that has to get instituted. And I mean now. And it's like, yeah, but
Mhm.
2-3 years down the road, what about this? Oh, you're being hysterical. And then it happens, and
Mhm.
we're seeing it already with Mamdani. I mean, it's taken him 2 weeks, 3 weeks to prove criticism
Mhm.
about him correct. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen, what he's going to do when they have this massive gathering of dogs in Central Park this weekend. His reaction is going to be the interesting one.
Oh,
That'd be great.
I would not be surprised if he sicked the NYPD on them.
Which he
I mean,
disapproves
it'll
of.
be which he disapproves, right? But the hypocrisy knows no bounds. And he already has come out. I wrote something earlier for Town Hall. Homeowners, black homeowners who said they voted for him, are really pissed off that he's using them as a pawn to try to extort Albany to raise taxes on the rich and businesses. Because he said if Albany won't let him do that, he's going to raise property taxes on everybody. And they're like, hold up, we're not a pawn in your little game. So the backlash has already started, and he hasn't even been in there 2 months, and it's glorious. Glorious. You guys were
Great.
warned. And look, I get it. Adams wasn't great. Cuomo was a shit governor and a shit person, but they were better than Mamdani, and you were warned. And part of that is the fault of the Democrats and the Republicans who did not run better candidates in that
Well,
race.
Rick, you already said a long time ago, I remember hearing on your show that, like I believe, this has to happen. It's like, you guys want to be the dumpster fire, the petri dish? Fine, do it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if you love your taxes and all the crazy shit that's soon to follow, which is already occurring.
Yeah, and I mean it's not even just those people that actually want it. This is just as much of a lesson for the people who are like, oh, I don't need to go vote. Nothing ever changes either way, so I can just do whatever. And no, you should have been paying attention, because now you're going to get everything we told you were going to get, and it's going to get shoved up your yes-sir Bob sideways, and you're all going to be whining about it and screaming and yelling about how unfair it is. And I'm going to be sitting there going, why didn't you vote? Where were you at? Why were the numbers so low? I mean, especially in New York City, dude, there's no reason, especially if we're still the country that hates communism, because that's what everybody tells me. We hate the commies. We don't want none of the commies. But now you just put one in office in New York City. You put one in office in Seattle. I mean, so do we really hate the commies, or are we starting to embrace them? And if we're starting to embrace them, pick a side and let's go. Because
Right.
They're
it's
hung
time-
up on the label. They come up with some new way of dressing up, but it's still communism. But what I'm enjoying right now is watching just the cavalcade of massive businesses evacuating from these blue areas. I mean, Boeing already just announced they're clearing out of Virginia now because of Spanberger. You've got Valero Oil pulled out of California to the tune of $1.1 billion of their expense. It's costing the company that much quarter just to leave California. And their gas prices already spiked like by 60 cents a gallon or something. You got the Chicago Bears leaving.
But yes, thank you. I was going to bring that up. Yeah, Chicago Bears are moving 30 minutes away into Hammond, Indiana, because Pritzker and what's the name of the mayor? I'm drawing a blank. Johnson couldn't figure out how to keep the Chicago Bears in
Bears.
Chicago. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a Packer fan. I hate the Bears. They could vanish tomorrow and I wouldn't care. But the Chicago Bears have been in Chicago for a very
I mean,
long
they've been
time.
there for what?
And that's
They've
where
been. I don't think that team has ever moved.
it's over. They have never moved. They have that has been their home for a long time. And the Democrats in Springfield couldn't figure out a way to keep them in Chicago. Let that sink in. Let the levels of corruption and incompetence it takes to lose the Chicago Bears
The
sink in.
Bears.
They've been
Well, I
there
mean-
over a century.
Well, first of all, you
Mhm.
mentioned Springfield, so all I have to say is Monorail. Sorry. Had to be
Monorail.
But no, but the other thing is, Spamberger, who is apparently going to be giving the rebuttal on Tuesday night, so that should be fun.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome. That is gonna be
Just
awesome.
sent Boeing fleeing from Virginia. They're like, nope, we're done. I mean, but
Right.
that's just it. And this is all I hear from everybody who votes blue. You guys don't understand. We're actually supporting the red states. Really? Then why all your businesses come to us now?
Yes.
Well, I love that when
Right,
Gavin
right.
Newsom said that. He's like, our state is supporting the state of Texas. And it's like, can you explain how that's the case when you are $20 billion in debt annually?
In what way are they supporting tech? Like, I want to know that man lies as easily as breathing. We're supporting Texas. He says that with no evidence, no proof, just we're supporting Texas because that's what I need to say to pass my agenda. Okay.
Yeah.
That guy is so full of shit. It's not even funny.
Well, it actually is.
I wrote about him.
because he's
Well,
just
right.
in
Well,
this
he's
year
not.
alone.
He's
though,
not going to be the nominee. Like everybody's freaking out. He's not going to be the nominee. I just wrote a piece for Town Hall today. He was talking to somebody about the SAVE Act isn't fair because I can't find my birth certificate. Okay, well, if you don't know where your birth certificate is, I don't want you running the country because you're going to deal with some pretty important documents, and it seems like you can't keep track of one of your own. So
I couldn't find my birth certificate. I went to the county. I paid $15 and I got a copy
Mhm.
because I needed to have it if
Right.
I wanted to have one of those new
Right, right.
IDs for
Right.
the Fed.
the real
Real
ID.
ID.
Yep. Mhm.
Well, $15 later, I was crushed fiscally, emotionally, psychologically.
you just paid a
it
voter
looks
tax.
like right. His Newsom was born in San Francisco, so I looked it up. To get a birth certificate in San Francisco, it's $31. And because San Francisco everything is expensive, to get extra copies, it's also $31. Here, I don't know what the base cost is, but if I would get my birth certificate, they would charge me $30, but then each subsequent certified copy is like $3 or $4. So they encourage you to order more at the same time. San Francisco, it's $31 a pop. So I would also guard that document with my life if I had dropped $31 every time I needed a copy. But who was mayor of San Francisco at one point? Yeah, that's right, Gavin Newsom.
Okay,
So he could have done something.
so sorry.
Something about
First of
it.
all,
That's fine.
first of all, with Newsom, he makes car salesmen seem like saints for one. But on behind the enemy lines, Brad and Ross and I actually did a deep dive. Not Brad, sorry, Gene and Ross and I actually did a deep dive on this topic for over an hour. And one of the things that kept coming up in the chat room from all these blue city and blue state people is like, it cost me $100 to get my ID, right? And I'm like, what does Donald Trump have to do with that? If it costs you $100 to replace your ID, that is a state or city issue.
Yeah, get
And
this
you
at your
Right.
county.
pick that up there.
Where do you live that it costs $100? Because I've had to replace my ID in the past. Had to do it not too long ago. It cost me $14. And I think it was $38 when I got it renewed 2 years ago. So where the hell are you living that it's $100 to renew your ID? For starters, I don't believe that. But even assuming that it's true, you're right. Why are you bitching to the state, to the municipality, to the DMV about why this costs so much? Because I'm sorry, it doesn't cost $31 worth of labor to print a certified copy of a birth certificate. It just doesn't. With computers and everything, it maybe takes 2 minutes to look that up. But the government's got to take its cut. Absolutely insane.
Well, it's a stupid argument because I saw this from ABC News. I think it was a couple weeks ago when they said that people that are on the SNAP program are going to have to start getting jobs and prove employment, they complain that these are people that are going to have a hard time submitting that paperwork successfully. It's like they had to submit paperwork to get on Snap to begin with.
Right. And if
What
you
the
want
hell?
to eat, you figure out a way to submit that paper. I'm sorry, this notion that we can never make anybody do anything, we're just going to hand out money, is absolutely like maddening. Where is this sense of responsibility? Where are the adults? Life is paperwork. Life is handling these things. Life is figuring out how to solve these problems when they come up. Not, oh, it's hard, I can't do it. Government, come save me. Government, help me. Government, make it illegal for, for them to require I show an ID to vote. This childish mentality that it infects
But
our
they don't
culture
even
just
see
makes
the
me so mad.
contradiction, because every program they have to save these people requires them to fill out that same information in order to qualify for the benefits.
Right.
So
Right.
sorry that
And
I'm
to
not
show an
sympathetic
ID.
to this cause.
Right. No, you have to show an ID to get on a plane, go to a hotel, sometimes to go see movies, to buy alcohol. The policy here in Wisconsin is every place has to ID you, even if you're 90 years old. My grandma could walk into the store and they would make her show
I
an
got
ID.
carded in Idaho last week for I'm 76 for vodka. Good God. It was kind of cool though. Hey, have you guys seen the video that just came out from Susan Rice advertising the America Hating Revenge Tour a la Virginia? I don't know if you've set this up or heard it, but this is what's going to happen if we lose the midterms. And they're saying there is no quiet part anymore. None of these assholes mind telling you exactly how they're going to slaughter your ass. But it's 2 minutes and 51 seconds of Susan Rice saying that Democrats basically are going to punish the crap out of corporations and other institutions, and you and me and anybody that I think the phrase was anybody that took a knee to Trump. It's coming. That video.
Oh, yeah, they were
Everybody needs to see that video.
Yeah, we absolutely need to talk about that because that is the most blatant and scariest thing I've seen a Democrat say in the run up to the election. And she doesn't hide it. She's saying it out loud. And nobody seems to care. I mean, we're talking about it. I've gotten a lot of retweets when I reposted it, but I know Trump is a little distracted today, but where's the statements from the GOP? Where are the statements from Republican senators? Where is everybody going? This is unacceptable, and we are not going to let her do this. And just a week ago, Obama was saying, no, we don't do those divisive weaponization politics. We're the good guys. Okay, Barack, sure.
Oh, so yeah, I'm looking. I saw exactly what you're talking about because I saw a piece on it earlier, and I thought I had it bookmarked, but apparently I don't. But now
I just put my story in the chat and the videos in there.
So that'll work. Hang on.
Oh,
I think
there
yours
it is.
must
I
be the
just
one
saw
that
it.
I saw. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought yours was the one that I saw, but I couldn't even find that a second ago. Hang on, let me get this queued up. Like, where did it go? But everybody's
So while
right.
you're doing that, let me ask everybody here another question. Let's say that, Mitch McConnell has already said that the SAVE Act can go to hell.
Well, so can he. So,
but
out loud. My bad.
Yeah.
What happens when, the Democrats are probably going to block at the Senate's 60 vote filibuster rule. So just a potential, throwing it out there. What happens to Republicans when this doesn't get embraced and the Republicans are not fighting tooth and claw to make sure this comes through? How many people then thusly decide that, okay, I'm sitting my ass home. You guys can go to hell.
I absolutely think that is going to be a factor in the midterms, because why should we vote for Republicans if they're just going to manage the decline, if they're just going to delay the inevitable? Go out, Mitch McConnell is no longer the leader of the Senate. The Senate leadership needs to go out there and say, no, we're going to do this and we're going to do it now. And this notion that I don't understand. This is such a slam dunk issue across the board. people overwhelmingly support voter ID, support this act, and the
73% of
Republicans in the
Democrats
Senate
want
are
it.
just like are just nah, we can't do it because reasons. Okay, like it almost makes me want to sit out the midterms because what's the point? What's the point if you aren't going to do the things that you promised you were going to do when you got elected? You know, and I've been fooled enough and burned enough by the Republicans to kind of go, maybe you guys don't deserve my vote and we deserve to have the Democrats do whatever they're going to do to us because you're really not that much better.
Dude, I'm ready to sell my place and put a down payment on an island. I'm not even kidding.
Can I come
All
with
right.
you?
But here we go.
As long as it's someplace warm, yeah.
Here's the clip. Here we go.
But when it comes to the elites, you know, the corporate interests, the law firms, the universities, the media, I agree with you, Preet. It is not. It's not going to end well for them. For those that decided that it was, you know, that they would act in their perceived very narrow self-interest, which I would underscore is very short-term self-interest, and you know, take a knee to Trump. I think they're now starting to realize, wait a minute, you know, this is not popular. Trump is not popular. What he is doing, whether on the economy and affordability or on immigration now, is not popular. And that there is likely to be a swing in the other direction. And they are going to be caught with more than their pants down. They're going to be held accountable by those who come in opposition to Trump and win at the ballot box. And I can tell you, Preet, you know, as I talk to leaders in Washington, leaders in our party, leaders in the states, if these corporations think that the Democrats, when they come back in power, are going to, you know, play by the old rules, and you know, and say, oh, never mind, we'll forgive you for all the people you've fired, all the policies and principles you've violated, all, you know, the laws you've skirted. I think they've got another thing coming because, you know, just like when Trump thought, okay, I'll redistrict and the Democrats won't have the guts to play hardball. They're going to be surprised. Democrats have had a belly full, and we're not going to play by, you know, the old set of rules when these guys are playing by a very different set of rules. We're going to play by the law, but we're not going to violate the law the way they do, but we're not going to be suckers. And so I think, you know, whether you're a law firm, whether you're a university, whether you're a media entity, whether you're a big corporation, whether you're big tech, you need to play a long game, not this short game that has been so detrimental. There will be an accountability agenda. You know, companies already are starting to hear they better preserve their documents. They better be ready for subpoenas. If they've done something wrong, they'll be held accountable. And if they haven't broken the law, good for them. If they've done the right things, good for them. That also will be noted and remembered. But you know, this is not going to be an instance of, you know, forgive and forget.
Right.
The damage that these people are doing is too severe to the American people and to our national interest.
Okay, 77 million people voted for Trump. So this notion that he is damaging America and the American people is bullshit because half this country voted for him. Second of all, notice what she names: universities, media outlets, big corporations, law firms, all the institutions that are basically the infrastructure of America. That's who they're going to go after because they are going to try to crush them. So they all are arms of the Democratic Party.
They are the institutions that they own. Who are the elites? You are. Who are
This
the
is what
elites in
yeah.
universities? They are.
Right.
Who has the greatest number of millionaires? Democrats. And then suddenly you don't like big tech? You don't like social media? Well, you
Right.
loved it when it was removing conservatives and hating Trump.
Right. They're going to go after those few that remain. I'm telling you right now, Elon Musk, if Trump doesn't give him a massive blanket pardon when he walks out the door, that man will be arrested day one of the next Democrat administration and probably deported. They will shut down X. They will take it. They will do whatever they can to destroy that man. And the same thing with anybody else. Any strongholds of conservatism, they will destroy them. They will absolutely destroy them. And anybody who even attempted to bend the knee to Trump or even perceive to bend the knee to Trump, they're going to come after him. And why is nobody else talking about this? Why is nobody in power going, Susan Rice is a danger, and treating her with the contempt that she deserves?
And it's like the GOP, I said originally, the GOP wants to be loved all the time. And their base mode is fuck the GOP. You guys are assholes. So if you're already at that foundational level, then what have you got to lose by actually supporting America? This thing with Susan Rice, like I said, it's going to be the America hating revenge tour, just like Virginia. You know, when you tax ridiculous, minuscule shit, that's the same thing that they want for every state on a federal level. Period.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm gonna disagree with you only slightly. It's not that the Republican Party wants to be loved. It's that at least 85% of the Republican Party wants the exact same thing the Democrats do. They just want to get you there at different rates of speed, so hopefully you don't notice. And I've used this analogy quite a bit. The Democrats want us over the fiscal cliff with the speed of a bullet train. So by the time basically we blink, we're there. There's nothing we can do about it. The government has to swoop in and save us. The GOP wants us there, but in the same direction, same place. They just want us there with the speed of a handcar. So by the time we fall off the edge, they hope we didn't notice, and by then it's still too late.
Right.
There's nothing that anybody can do except for the elite swooping in and fixing the mess. That's been their plan all along. That's why Mitch McConnell, you could see it in his face today when he's oh yeah, this thing's dead. He's doing his little fucking turtley smile face. Because he knows he wants the same fucking thing. They want they want the illegals to vote. Almost everybody that is an elitist does, because they think one way or the other, eventually they're gonna be able to divide up these votes and start fighting among one another about who gets to keep power. That's not true, though. The only person who is actively fighting for America at this point is the one person that everybody's screaming at all the time. I mean, I used to think that fucking why can I not think of his name? Damn it. The dude that
Fetterman?
No. Fetterman still is a raging liberal. He just has some common sense. God, why can I not? His face is like right in front of me, and I was just talking about him earlier today. God, Massey, there we go. I knew it was in there somewhere. Thomas Massey was one of the people when he first hit the scene in Congress. I was so impressed with that man. But he's no different than fucking Rand Paul. Rand Paul has this one little thing that he gets into over and over and over again. And if you're not on that one thing with him, then he doesn't care about anything else. It's insane to me.
Did you see my piece on Massey that I just wrote yesterday?
I did not, but I probably will go check it out now. Why?
What did you say? I did it at Red State because I was just covering, part of the Epstein file debacle that he had last week, but he did this tongue bath interview with Politico.
Oh, Politico, yeah, I saw that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is that was the one where he said, "Yeah, if Speaker Johnson says something nice about me, I'll vote the way he wants." Yeah, that interview.
They asked him if he ever spoke with Johnson, and he said the last time I did, he came to me for a vote on a policy and told him he had to write a glowing endorsement by Bill with the Epstein file. Johnson's like, it's got nothing to do with the bill. I'm doing, and he's like, well, then I'm not voting for it. And there was no consideration of the bill itself. It was make this complete pimp of a document for me, and I'll vote your way. And Johnson was like, no. And then days later, he had that complete fiasco with releasing names from the Epstein file. So Johnson made the right move. But I mean, this is where Massey is anymore. He plays the contrarian any longer, and he's just a typical political swamp creature. It's sad and pathetic, but that's where we're at now.
But he'll say he's a man of principles. I'm sorry, a man of principles doesn't ask for a glowing statement from the Speaker of the House in exchange for a vote. That is not principles.
It's the cult of personality, and frequently there isn't a dime's worth of difference between the two sides. You can't tell me that this hasn't gone on for years. And maybe I'm a tinfoil wearing conspiracist, but you can't tell me that anybody and everybody who consistently votes for illegal invaders isn't in some fashion on the pad from the Mexican cartels or other interests or Soros or anybody of that ilk.
China, because they don't want to
China, or anyone that hates America.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. They have to be. They absolutely have to
How
be.
can you hate this country so much? How can you profess to love the country and then
Because
do
it's convenient and
everything
you're allowed to.
within your power to stab us and shiv our ass right in the back and sever our spine on our 250th anniversary? Comma, thank you, fucker.
Well, the
Mhm.
part I enjoyed is after that Massey bit, I had literally successive comments on it where somebody said that I was further right than Cat Turd, and I was also a plant from the New York Times.
Right.
Fantastic.
Wait, how can you
Fantastic.
both?
Just love it.
What's,
That is just chef's kiss.
since when is the Gray Lady a right leaning publication? How can you be?
Well, that's what it was. It was like I'm either slamming a Republican like the New York Times, or I'm protecting Trump from a critic of Massey like Cat Turd would do or something. It's just like, do you realize? And I had some other idiot telling me I'm in the Trump cult. I said, I didn't even mention Trump's name once in the article.
Mhm.
Well, you got to get out of your Republican bubble. I just slammed the Republican. What are you talking about? The emotional reaction to politics cracks me up. It's like you're supposed to think these things through first before jumping for the keyboard, but nobody can do that anymore. That's just where
Well,
we're at. You know,
critical
everything's got to be emotional fervor. There's no
Yes.
actual mental processing taking place.
Mhm.
You know, it's like you're dealing with, well, historically, we always have been dealing with emos on the left. You know, never let true facts get in the way of a good emotional argument.
Mhm.
Hey, BZ, I think one of your SHR trolls made it into my chat.
Oh, really? I'm not looking, so
He's kind of having a moment, so I've been letting him post it out. So,
well, aren't you beloved?
but yeah, fun times. So believe it or not, we are getting close to we're
Oh,
actually
wow.
really close to wrap time. So just to make sure we do what our normal thing, and we'll start with Amy because I know you normally have to jump fairly quickly if we do any overtime anyway. So as we normally call it around here, favorite child of the week. What you got?
My favorite child of the week is actually a story that I wrote about Wisconsin's Republican Assembly Speaker, Robin Vos, who has been in the Wisconsin Assembly for more than 20 years. He announced yesterday that he is no longer seeking re-election. I can't even begin to tell you what a big loss that is for Wisconsin Republicans and for conservatism in Wisconsin. He's had his critics on the right who have said he has not been that effective, but I think he has been. He was the Republican who helped Scott Walker get Act 10 through. He has been the Republican who has done his best to keep our governor, Tony Evers, in line, despite the fact that Evers used his line item veto to authorize 400 years of property tax increases to fund the schools. He had a mild heart attack back in November, and it was kind of a wake-up call for him that it's time to move on and hand the reins over to somebody else. But it's a big loss, and I won't lie. Every assembly seat is up for re-election this year. So Democrats have an opportunity to completely Minneapolis, Wisconsin, and they're going to run at it full bore. So we need to make sure we get it in there and fight and vote to keep at least the assembly and the state senate red, if not flip the governorship. Tom Tiffany is running. He's the Republican. He picked up 2 big endorsements this week, kind of tangential to this, from Americans for Prosperity. The Wisconsin chapter endorsed him, as did Turning Point Action. While the Democrats have, I believe it's 7 or 8 candidates who are all fighting to be the most radical left nut jobs in Madison, the right is coalescing around Tom Tiffany. And I get I get that Tiffany leaving the House makes things on a federal level not good, but it would be a big win for the state of Wisconsin. So to Robin Vos, thank you for 20 years of service. I wish you all the best. And keep fighting until we make sure that assembly stays red in November.
All right. And where can folks find you, ma'am?
You can find me on Twitter at Ranty Amy Curtis. It should be in, let me make sure I put it in. Yeah, it's right there, Ranty Amy Curtis. You can find me on Town Hall at Amy Curtis. I write a lot, so you won't want for articles from me. And then Amazon.com, Gaslight, my book. Please pick it up. I really want to sell more copies because I got a kid who's going to Rome next spring. I need the royalties, and if you happen to be a publisher or know a publisher, send them my way. I've got ideas for more books and would love to sign a contract.
Actually, I think I might know one. I need to find out if she's still in the biz. So as soon as I know, I will let you know.
That would
But
be
she's
awesome.
she's not on X very often anymore, so I have to go find her. And BZ, what do you got as far as favorite topic you've covered this week?
I love this story from the BBC. As Trump retreats from climate goals, China is becoming a green superpower. Dun, dun, dun. And, because Trump blew it again, and China is the new superpower. But what they discovered is that, oh, yeah, they manufacture all this cool stuff, but the point is to sell it to the West, taking advantage of our climate change stupidity, make a profit because basically they have a lot of the rare earth metals, that kind of stuff. And then Trump, playing some kind of different chess game, decides that, okay, how about if I call your bluff and I cancel your subsidies? And it turns out China is losing money, the BBC lies again. Thank you.
And Brad, what do you got for us this week?
Well, first, just to tag on BZ's, if you go to town hall under my name, I covered after the Davos meetings where they were just, swooning and embracing China because China wants to sell all the components for the green energy, and they're building new coal plants like one a week in order to do this. It's just, apply some thought maybe, but no, they can't do that.
No, of course. And it's funny that you mentioned that because literally just across my feed, my governor, who is not running for re-election, mind you, just committed that my state will be buying 225,000 renewable energy certificates every year for the next 20 years. Remember, this guy Tony Evers won't be alive in 20 years. Tony Evers won't be alive in 5. He's old, he's frail, he's sick. He's now committing us to 225,000 renewable energy certificates for the next 20 years. I'm guessing, I got to dig into this, but I'm going to bet you money they're coming from China, and I'm trying to figure out how much this program is going to cost us because he's on his way out the door and he's going to burn the whole state of Wisconsin down as he does it. So, wow. It's absolutely fabulous.
As far as my baby, I will go with my article up this afternoon, actually. It found this story. It's kind of amazing. From The Atlantic, Amy's favorite. They published, it was last week actually, where they put out an article about, it was this weepy story of a mother that went through the process of her child dying from measles. And the reaction from the media was, holy cow, this is Elizabeth Burning. I didn't know her child died years ago. This is amazing. They looked into it and they contacted The Atlantic, and then they were like, wait a second, is this a real story? Turned out she completely fictionalized this story.
Oh my God.
It all starts off with kids going to a birthday party, and then the 5-year-old got sick for a week, and then she contracted measles. And it was a compilation of stuff that she had learned from a whole number of doctors and built this fictionalized story. And so, and down at the bottom was a disclaimer, and it didn't even say this was a fake story. It said, this was all based on interviews with a variety of doctors. And when they first contacted The Atlantic and said, is this real or fake? And they were like, oh no, this was testimony from a mother. And then their disclaimer said something completely different. She puts out this fictional, she called it creative nonfiction.
Wait,
They published it without recognizing that it might not be a real story after all. And their denial contradicted by their editor's note they put at the bottom now. This was a complete fabrication and fiasco. It is hilarious how bad this turned out.
I just can't, my brain literally cannot process creative. What was the term? Hang on. What was that term again?
Creative nonfiction.
So that's just a fancy way of saying lying.
Yeah, I was lying.
But it was creative.
Fake but true is basically what that means. And
right.
The attribution at the end of it didn't even clarify this. And literally, these are people in the industry that went to Atlantic and were like, wait, what is going on here? And they even pimped out. You got to go read it. It's amazing. I got all of it from like Neiman Lab. They investigated them and such. And they put out PR samples of the story and it didn't have the editor's note on it. And then after they got asked, they were like, no, a woman told her the story. It's totally true. Oh, shit.
Oh my God. Oh my, wait, when are they going to learn? Because
They're
Rolling
not
Stone and it was Rolling Stone that did the big rape UVA campus rape thing that was completely
Right.
made up. No. Oh my God, just shut it down. But yes. So when the Atlantic hates me, I am in fact doing God's work, because wow. That's, if those are the people criticizing me, I like where I'm at. Thank you very much. Yep. I am good with whatever you level, whatever accusations you level at me, because you guys are a bunch of liars.
But he's listening.
right.
Right.
I just wanted to point out before I go into my favorite child of the week that, that's because we don't focus on YouTube because we were banned from YouTube for a long time, but we get thousands of views everywhere else. But thank you for helping to add to our YouTube numbers that we are starting to try to build again.
Yeah,
I
cool.
appreciate you. So anyway, so my favorite story of the week actually comes in from just exactly a week ago, because I hadn't had a chance to put anything out this week because I've been putting out medical fires for a friend. I actually got to break something, sort of. CNN broke it first, but CNN did what they always do, because they might as well change that C from cable to Cemetery News Network, because if they buried this lead any further, it'd probably be either halfway to China or somewhere around Atlantis. Kathy Schumer is resigning as chief legal officer at Goldman Sachs because of increased scrutiny regarding her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. But they buried the entirety of this woman once being Barack Obama's lead counsel while he was president.
Of course they did.
So yeah, that one was a fun one to write. I was probably right up there with getting to write a story about Captain Kirk. That was kind of cool. I was like, I finally get to break a story again on Twitchy, even though I've barely been writing. That's awesome. But yeah, so that's going to do it for me. Don't forget, come back tonight for those of you that are interested. YouTube troll, you can stay home. I don't really care. But you can find me tonight doing Kingdom and Country, a special episode because Aggie is still out. I'm going to do a deep dive on this whole leftist narrative that Elon Musk is the false prophet, which by tangentially supposedly makes Donald Trump the Antichrist. And then tonight we also have the first airing of our new D&D show that Jeff and a bunch of the crew have put together. That'll be starting right after I finish there. So hopefully you guys come back and hang out for that stuff tonight.
This is all of us going, oh.
I promised I'd let him in. I don't know if you can hear him purring, but he is very, very happy now. That's Neville.
I didn't have the screen up, but I do see him now. He's a happy kitty now.
He is a happy kitty now.
What's his name?
His name is Neville, like Longbottom from Harry Potter.
Oh, Neville, good to see you, mister.
So that was the one making all that noise.
Sorry, now you got me singing the song from
The Big Bang Theory.
All right, folks. Brad, did you let everybody know where they could find you, or did we skip that part? I think we might have skipped that part.
Might have skipped it, but I can be found over at townhall.com with my media column every day. Also on the front page of Red State and here at KLRN. Got a couple shows Thursday night, Tuesday night, and you can hear me on see me, I should say, over at Jitter. I'm at Martini Shark.
All right. And BZ, where can folks find you, sir?
Well, first, number one, Martini Shark, one of the most cool names ever. And number two, BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show every Tuesday and Thursday night on KLRN and SHR, 8 p.m. Pacific and 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern, slightly to the right of Vlad Tepish, but that's intentional. Thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome, sir. Yeah, as soon as I saw his @, I kept thinking of trying to figure out a way to rewrite Baby Shark without getting a copyright strike, but I don't think you would appreciate that as much as I would. We're getting out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you for hanging out with us this Friday afternoon. I'll be back tonight for the night shift, and then we got Juxtaposition tomorrow night, regular Kingdom and Country on Sunday night. Rick Robinson's show is back on Monday night, America Off the Rails Monday night, and Tuesday night, no Men Explained Poorly, because we are doing State of the Union Roundtable, including the response from the Democratic Socialist governor of Virginia, who said she wasn't one and is one anyway. But we're going to get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your Friday, and thank you so much for those of you hanging out with us. Even the guy who claims to hate us but stayed in the chat the whole time.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye, Neville.